This video is brought to you by MacBack. Today I want to share with you my iPhone 14 Pro's battery health after almost 1 year of daily use, and also see how it compares to my iPhone 14 Pro Max, a phone I also use every day but charge in a different way. From there I'm going to talk about and compare the different ways of charging your phone, so comparing slow charging versus fast charging, wired versus wireless charging, all to find out what the best way is to charge your phone to maximize its battery health. But first, let's talk about the battery health of both of these phones after almost a year of daily use. So after around 11 and a half months, my iPhone 14 Pro's battery health is still showing 100%. And this is impressive, especially when compared to my iPhone 14 Pro Max, which again, after the same time period, is showing just 96% battery health. So why are these numbers so different? Well, the way I charge each phone is different, and I did this specifically to get a sense for how much or how little impact certain charging habits can have on your battery health. And well, as it turns out, this seemed to make a pretty big difference. So the question is, how do I charge each phone? Well, I charge my iPhone 14 Pro every night, overnight, wired via a 5-watt brick, where by comparison, my iPhone 14 Pro Max, I charge this using MagSafe, so wireless charging, from a 20-watt brick. Now, I want to make clear that while I do use both phones every day, I use my 14 Pro as my work phone and my 14 Pro Max as my personal phone, the 14 Pro Max does get more screen on time, and since the two phones aren't exactly the same model, I wouldn't consider this a scientific control test. But still, I do believe that the significant difference in battery health going from almost turned into a drop test, going from 100% down to 96% is largely due to the different ways that I charge each phone. So let's break this down. Now, the speed of a charger is measured by the number of watts that it can put out. So the more watts, the faster it can charge. And typically, a slower charger or a lower watt charger will be smaller when compared to a faster charger. Check out, for example, how this 5-watt charger from Apple compares to this much bigger 67-watt charger. But the question is, how many watts can the iPhone actually take? Well, the regular iPhone 14 and 14 Plus can go up to 20 watts, where the 14 Pro and the 14 Pro Max I have on the table here can only go up to 27 watts. So what does this mean? Well, this means that there's effectively no point in using a 67-watt charger, as the majority of this power will go unused. Now, this is where Apple's 20-watt brick comes into play, as this is a good middle ground between the slower 5-watt and then that MacBook charger that we looked at earlier. And I especially like this one because it has these fold-out prongs on the UK model that I have here. Great for travel. So basically what I've done is I use this 20-watt charger for my iPhone 14 Pro Max, and then I use this smaller 5-watt charger for my 14 Pro. Now, I want to talk about heat, as heat is the #1 factor that contributes to battery health degradation. Charging your phone generates heat. Whether you use the fast charger or a slow charger, it's always going to generate heat, and generating heat will damage your battery health over time. Now, typically speaking, higher watt or faster chargers, such as this 20-watt brick, will generate more heat and thus have a bigger impact on the battery health. So this just means you should go for the slower 5-watt charger, right? Well, yes and no. While yes, for your battery health, the slower 5-watt brick will be better in the long run, the 20-watt brick will charge faster. In fact, it will charge just about twice as fast. So my advice is actually to use both fast charging as well as slow charging. So for example, at night, when say your phone can charge for hopefully 7 to 8 hours while you get a good night of sleep, I would suggest using the 5-watt charger, as you're in no rush in how fast the phone needs to charge. And again, this is going to minimize the wear on the battery health over time. So this way, when you wake up, you always have a fully charged phone. Plus, if you turn on optimized battery charging in the settings, your phone will actually learn your charging habits and then charge up to 80% first, and then wait with the remaining 20% till closer to when you typically wake up. And this is, of course, going to make sure, again, to limit the wear on the battery and that you'll still wake up with a fully charged phone. Now, let's say later in the day, you need a quick top up after work before heading out or going out to dinner or something. Then this 20-watt brick will come in super handy, as of course you're going to get more power in less time. In fact, this will charge just about twice as fast compared to the 5-watt brick. So that's the charge brick, but of course the charge brick is just part of the equation. Now, before we talk about comparing wired versus wireless charging, let me share with you one of the best ways to protect your iPhone 14 Pro and add functionality to it with MacBack. MacBag create good-looking and functional accessories for your iPhone, starting with the MacBag case. Now it comes in a range of colors, as you can see here, including this really sleek gray, which is my favorite. I like that it's made of this really grippy, impact-absorbent silicone material that is actually drop-tested for up to 6 feet. But the best feature of the MacBag case is not only is it fully compatible with MagSafe, but also with Mag Sticks. Now, this means you can mount your phone to virtually any surface by simply adding a Mag Stick. Think, for example, a dashboard, your kitchen, or a wall. And if the surface is already metallic, you can just place the phone to mount. The impressive array of magnets inside the case lets you add accessories, like for example, the MacBag wallet. This Saffiano leather wallet will instantly attach to the back of the case very seamlessly. And because MacBag actually uses stronger magnets compared to traditional MagSafe, the magnetic strength is actually 2 to 3 times stronger, which is especially important for a wallet. And then in typical MacBag fashion, they went even further by adding more functionality. So you can actually also use the wallet as a stand. You can see it folds out to prop up your phone. This is great to have it, say, mounted on your desk. They have also integrated a loop to add a little bit of extra grip, and the wallet itself can actually hold up to 6 cards or cards and cash thanks to having dual pockets. And then lastly is the MacBag multi-charger. I've been using this every night. I love how this lets you charge your phone and also sort of mount it and set it upwards, sort of acting as a stand as well. It also lets you charge the Apple Watch in the back, and then in the bottom, you can even charge your AirPods. I love the minimalistic design, and overall, I think this is just a really neat all-in-one package. So to learn more about MacBag, be sure to click the links in the description and use code Dion Schuddeboom 15 off for 15% off your order. So what about wire charging versus wireless charging? Well, of course, wireless charging is super convenient, especially when you use MagSafe, like with the MacBag charger that we just looked at. All you have to do is just take your iPhone, align it with the charger, and then drop it into place. The magnets do all the work, and your phone starts charging. Great. But there is a catch, and once again, you guessed it, it is heat. Wireless charging does produce significantly more heat when compared to wired charging, and again, more heat will more quickly degrade the battery health, leading to worse battery health over time. Now, wireless charging is actually slower too. So, for example, Apple's MagSafe can only go up to 15 watts, where the non-MagSafe charger, so standard Qi charging, only goes up to 7.5 watts. And again, this is compared to up to 27 watts if you're using a wired connection. Plus, if you use a 15-watt wired connection, let's say with a 15-watt brick, and compare it to a 15-watt MagSafe charger, they will charge at the same speed. But again, because there's more heat generated on the MagSafe side, the wired connection will still be better for your battery health over time. So is it worth using wireless charging then? Well, absolutely. I think it is great for the convenience. Again, just place your phone and it will automatically charge. You don't have to worry about plugging in a cable at night, finding the port and making sure it goes in. Just plug it in and your phone will start to charge. This is also especially great if, say, you have your phone on a desk, especially with this charger, because it mounts the screen facing to you, so you can sort of keep an eye on notifications as you go in and out throughout the day. And again, you can quickly take it on, place it as you come in and out of the office, but do remember that for your battery health, wired is best. So again, I would recommend using a wired connection overnight and then use wireless throughout the day as you're taking your phone on and off. And again, just to go back to the data, on the 14 Pro Max, just to remind you, I use wireless charging for that exclusively, where for the 14 Pro, I only used wired charging. Now, I also get asked whether cables matter, and the answer is yes and no. Do you have to use Apple's expensive Lightning cable? No. But can you use just any cable? Also no. Apple's cables aren't very durable, and they certainly aren't cheap either, so it may be tempting to go for a more cost-effective third-party alternative, and that's okay. In fact, I think that's a good thing to do. I enjoy using this cable here from Amazon. I think Anker has some great ones too, especially because they are braided, and you can also get ones that are really nice and long. That's great for using at night. You don't have to worry about reaching and finding the cable. But one thing that is really important and to always look out for when you're buying a third-party cable is to make sure it is MFI certified. Now, MFI stands for Made for iPhone, and this essentially means that the cable has an Apple chip inside, which ensures two things. First, that your phone, that the cable will work safely with your phone, and two, that Apple still makes some money. No, but in all seriousness, trust me, it is not worth risking your phone, damage to your phone, or even worse, a fire, just for using an unreliable and really cheap cable. So again, there are some really great alternatives that aren't from Apple. Again, this Amazon one, Amazon Basics, I believe believe this is like $10. I'll leave this in the description. Anchor has some great ones too. And these are all both MFI certified, meaning they're just as functional and safe to use as Apple's original cables. Now we've reached the rapid fire section of the video where I will debunk some common charging myths and also share some tips. So number one, is it okay to charge your phone overnight? The answer is yes, especially if you use optimized charging, where again, your phone will gradually charge over time based on your charging schedule to minimize wear on your battery. Second question, should you unplug when you're at 100%? The answer is no. Your iPhone knows when the battery is full and will then also stop charging, so it's practically impossible to overcharge your phone. So I wouldn't worry about this at all. You can safely leave it in at 100%. Next question, should you let your battery run out before charging? This is simply not necessary. Now let's take a look at a software question, and that is, does closing background apps actually save battery? And the answer here is no. Now, iPhones are built to multitask in a very efficient way. So open apps in the background, they run in sort of a more idle state, taking very little power. In fact, only the app that you're actually using and have open in the foreground is properly running, where the other apps are practically almost like a sleep-like state, which again keeps them there when you pull them up to quickly bring back that data. But as long as you're not using them, the app basically doesn't consume any power. Okay, so this has been an extensive video talking about charging, battery health, cables and bricks and everything, but my final tip is really important, probably most important of all, and that is to not overthink it. At the end of the day, no battery lasts forever, and all batteries degrade over time as long as you use them. So really, my suggestion, there's no need to make any big lifestyle adjustments just to do what is best for your battery. I would suggest you follow the steps I laid out in the video in regards to which chargers you use at night, which you use during the day, and this will go a long way into maximizing your battery health over time while still letting you enjoy the phone that you, after all, did pay hundreds of dollars for. Plus, Apple does, of course, offer a battery replacement service in much of the world for just $69, which is something I recommend you do anyway at around the 2 to 3 year mark of owning your phone to add some extra longevity to your iPhone. Anyway, guys, let me know if you have any questions at all. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you how you charge your phone, what your setup is overnight, and then during day if you need some quick top-ups. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend watching my iPhone 14 Pro first 15 things to do video, which also covers plenty of battery saving tips. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.